Let's continue with some political news. It's being called the Texas trial of the century, but it may not go to trial at all. A lot of us have been watching this. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton's impeachment. The trial is set to begin tomorrow after the state's House voted to impeach him on a host of allegations, including making false statements, obstructing justice, and accepting bribes. But despite the overwhelming support for impeachment that we saw back in May, the state's lieutenant governor could throw out the whole case. We've been watching this very closely. Could do it before any evidence is even presented. Capitol correspondent for our Austin station, Ryan Chandler, explains.
History is on the horizon. Tuesday begins Texas's first statewide impeachment trial in 100 years.
It's going to be the trial of the century, literally.
It will likely begin with one of the most pressing questions, whether to proceed with the trial at all. Ken Paxton has asked the Senate to dismiss all of the charges.
Whether Lieutenant Governor Patrick decides to rule on that motion on his own or put it up to a vote of the senators is itself a tough question for him, and so that's going to take up some time.
After the pretrial motions are decided, each side will have 24 hours to present their case, piecing through more than 100 witnesses and thousands of pages of evidence.
This is a trial to assure the people of Texas have an honest attorney general.
I just think it's a complete waste of time when what's been presented to the Senate is so weak.
Prosecutors need 2/3 of the Senate to vote to convict Paxton. Assuming all 12 Democrats vote to convict, they still need at least half of the Republicans. There's 19 Republicans in the Senate, but remember, Senator Angela Paxton, Ken's wife, is not allowed to vote on her husband's fate. So out of the 31 senators, prosecutors will likely be targeting 9 Republicans.
That's where I think all of the persuasion is going to be, right, is the House manager's lawyers, who are very, very skilled trial lawyers, are going to have to find a way to convince essentially half of the Republicans in the Texas Senate to abandon a fellow Republican and vote in favor of conviction.
If Paxton is convicted on any of the 16 charges, he will be removed from office. Senators would then consider a separate question, whether to prohibit him from ever running for office again. Senators are gearing up for long days. It could last 4 to 6 weeks.
Ken Paxton will get a fair trial, same fair trial, impartial judgment that everybody should get in that situation. And we'll see how it all goes. I'm not going to, foretell how I'm going to see. I'm going to look at all the evidence and we're going to evaluate it, because that's what needs to happen.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.